Hey, Coach Kevin here, Kevin Lawrence, wishing you a happy Thursday before what for many of us is a long weekend. And I'm hoping, whatever your faith is, that you get some time with your family, whether it's virtual or in person. Another pretty big and probably intense week for many people. And there's lots of good things going on. So I'm hoping that for over the weekend, you can get to enjoy some of those good things. A quick one here today, a little humor for you to kind of brighten things up a little bit. A funny one that was shared with me is that someone shares, hey, we went to this great restaurant. It's called The Kitchen. You gather all the ingredients and then you make your own meal. I have no clue how this place is still in business. Welcome to reality. For many people who don't like cooking, it's a great opportunity to learn, and hopefully you can embrace that. But yes, it's very different for those who normally rely on others to be doing the cooking or providing the other services, even sometimes cleaning and such. Those things are not so readily available or appropriate at these times for some people. Anyway, so a little thing to Latent Load. Hey, I want to share something with you today from the webinar that we did this morning called "Finding the Joy in the Pain." It's just basically, how do you take these painful situations and figure out how it's good for you? It just allows you to embrace it. So we talked about this in the webinar. You can watch the replay. There'll be a link in a newsletter to the webinar replay. But the idea is, the secret is just to find the meaning behind the pain. And the meaning you choose changes your perspective, and your perspective changes everything. So how do you find the good in the challenging stuff? And that's a fairly advanced thing to do. That's why there's psychologists and people to help you, or good friends to help you to listen and vent out. But somehow we need to embrace it. And that's where the innovation comes from. Innovation doesn't come from resistance. Innovation comes from seeing the problem, knowing that we can handle this and beat this thing, and then pushing to find new ways and different techniques. And we are so creative as human beings that we want to tap into that creativity. But when we're stuck and still absorbed with the pain, kind of like that victim mode, the creativity doesn't kick in, the solutions don't kick in, and we don't feel great. So the simple solution is to get into action and be grateful and have gratitude for the things that are going on around you. And I know it's easy to say and it's hard to do. And I'm not saying to be stupidly positive. It was interesting. Um, uh, there was a quote on my earlier webinar someone captured as I was going, and it was something along the lines of, being super positive is for chumps. It's actually very dangerous. You need to be looking at the challenges and be positive on top of that. So, and back in the book, in your Oxygen Masters, two things, for you to think about is your own mental health. What can you do to enhance that this weekend? And then loving the lessons. How do you appreciate the challenges and seeing how this is going to make us stronger? We've had a webinar earlier today with a whole bunch of advisors and coaches from around the world. And, one of the themes that came out of that was that people have very different views. These are some of the smartest people I know. Very different views about when people get fully back to the work like we were in January, going from next quarter to 2022. So huge range of perspectives. And we just need to be prepared so we can learn and grow in this, and don't drive ourselves crazy. And shifting to wow, this is great, from woe is me and this is not great. So what I want you to really, give you something to think about this for this next, few days is, how do we be grateful and how do we fully embrace it? Imagining that we'd be living like this for a year. How are you going to make this weekend a great representative or great representation of how you want to live your life? Now, if you're not allowed to leave your house, we've got some people in France and India and stuff that can't. So maybe you imagine that you could go and get out and about in the city and be protected with masks or whatever it is. But how do you embrace this way of living, just so that you can try and get your head and your creativity to really soak it up and enjoy it? So I wish you a great weekend. Please do the things for yourself and connect with your friends and family. See you next week. All the best.